Hi guys!
Hey guys! Today, we're going to give you 13 reasons why to geek out about this book! The lovely book, if you didn't catch that already, is The 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. Or Osher. I think it's Asher though.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. We mentioned this briefly, kind of briefly, in our little book haul, but disclaimer, there might be spoilers in this.
Yeah.
We'll try to avoid it though. But
we're going to try our hardest.
We're trying to give a rundown of it.
Mm-hmm.
But this lovely book is about this guy's name's Clay Jensen, and one day he had gotten a box of tapes. Now, the box of tapes, they were from a girl that he liked and actually worked with, and her name was Hannah Baker. The thing is about Hannah Baker, though, is that she recently had committed suicide. I'm trying to think how far back. I think maybe 2 months before?
I think it was 2 months
2 months
before.
later? Yeah, if you know of a person or are aware of someone who is going down that dark path, sometimes they kind of plan out. And Hannah really planned this out.
She really did. And in the book, like, one of the signs is that she goes and cuts her hair, like, short. And
it's not like, oh my gosh, pay attention to me, like,
yeah.
like it's some attention seekers who want to be in the spotlight all the time. It's just that some people want to be acknowledged in some way or form. They want to be heard, and she was not being heard.
Yeah.
Each tape is a story that led her to that point. And Clay didn't understand why he was getting it, because he liked her. And this is a spoiler, she sent it to him because he deserves to know why.
Because he cared about her and she cared about him. And she wanted him to know.
She didn't want to hurt him. He was not a part of this. He didn't hurt her in any way. It was just kind of like, it was just not meant to be kind of situation, unfortunately. It could have been prevented, and that shows today, especially in schools, that there's no prevention. There's bullies and people getting kicked around and stuff. People are being ignored, whether it's in school and at home. Yeah,
and in the book it mentions that at one point they go and make like a hot or not list, and I'm like, really? Like, why would you do that? And Hannah was on the hot list, but it was because of her butt in the book, and it's kind of
really about her butt.
It's like, really, like, she's a human being. Like, if you look at her, she's a human being. Like, throughout the book, she's a human being. She
and like everyone out there is a beautiful, handsome, gorgeous person. Don't judge them for their butt. Don't put them on a hot or not list.
Exactly.
Everyone is equal in their own way, and Hannah was definitely like in a chain of, how would you want to say, like a snowball effect. Like one thing happened and just went
everything
downhill.
Else.
It just went downhill from it.
Happened.
And in the book, that's why each tape, and I mentioned briefly, with the cover, it's a map. She actually had a map and tapes with it, and they're cassette tapes.
Yes, and the author, I think, said, like, the reason why he did cassette tapes was because of the fact that it's retro, which makes it more popular. So that's why he did it, and I thought it was a really good addition to the book, because if you just hadn't, like, if someone sent you an iPod, you'd be like, oh, I'm not going to listen to it. But with cassette tapes, it's like, oh, this is something old.
Yeah, so actually look into to go find, like, a cassette tape, a tape player to actually...
A Walkman.
Yeah, a Walkman.
So...
I think we still have a Walkman somewhere in our garage.
I'm pretty sure my dad does somewhere too, but...
But I mean, and I love about this book, you could actually go on YouTube and you could listen to the tapes. I actually went through and listened to some of them, and it's, oh man, when you listen to the tape while you listen to her and read it along with Clay as he's reading it or listening to the tapes, it's so deep. It makes you think. You can actually have more of a mental image of it.
It gives it a different vibe. I haven't listened to it, but I'm kind of interested to listen to them now.
And they're actually making a Netflix 13-part series.
What?
not 13-part series, but episode for the book itself. They are having writers. They have Selena Gomez that's supposed to play as Hannah Baker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be pretty cool.
This is gonna be pretty cool.
But this book, it makes you feel.
It basically, summing it up, it's all the feels in one book. Like, that's the best explanation for this book.
I don't cry at a lot of books. Fault in Our Stars was one of those books I teared up at.
Yes.
I didn't cry at. This book, I cried.
I cried too. It was so, it's such a good book, and it's so sad. I mean,
and I think another thing is with this book, the only reason Clay got it because he was important to her. He's not the only one that's supposed to get it though. He was the second to last person I think to get it. And I won't spoil who's supposed to get the last one, but each person she picked out people who were supposed to get the tapes.
Yeah, there was like 12 people, not counting Clay, but 13 people
who is the reason why there are 13 tapes in the first place.
And it's 13 reasons why she committed what she did. I mean,
because when I read this, I didn't read this until after, like, high school. I read it towards the end of my senior year because no one else in my class really read it, except maybe a few other people, because she actually had a copy of my English teacher. And when we did, our school had added a curriculum to have kind of like an anti-bully kind of thing. We were supposed to, talk to one another. But what my teacher did, which came from the book, is the paper bags, and you're supposed to compliment each other. With Hannah's class, it was a hit and miss.
It was a hit and miss. Like, sometimes there'd be something good, sometimes there
wouldn't be anything.
There wouldn't be anything for her.
As a human being, we should do that. We should be better at complimenting each other. We should encourage each other.
Even if it's just, like, smiling at somebody, that can be something...
Open the door for somebody.
Worthwhile to them. I mean, you don't know what that person's going through. I mean, really, you don't. So...
I mean, we've had people at our dorm just compliment on our little door.
On our door. I mean, and our door is nothing but YouTubers. That's all it is.
And that made our day, because they wrote a note for us, and it was the stuff like that. It's the little things that makes a person's day turn a whole 360. And for Hannah, she did not get that chance, unfortunately.
No. It's sad to see that there are people out there that bully. I don't know why people bully. Yeah. I mean, I was bullied. I mean, it wasn't like to my face, but I felt like it was behind my back. And it sucks. That's all I can say.
We all slowly judge each other, and we really shouldn't. I know I felt judged in high school. I still feel like that sometimes to this day. But it's something you have to get past. Don't let that be the thing to drive you down.
Yeah. And
with this book, it definitely shows that you need to recognize there are other people out there. There are some people who are in worse shape than you.
Yeah. There are a lot more people. I mean, just take a look over across the sea. I mean, there are kids that are hungry, and there are kids at school that are committing suicide, like in Hannah's case, because no one noticed them, or because they're being judged.
Yeah. We actually did have a few deaths at my high school, and that was heartbreaking. Like, one thing happens, and it's like everyone jumps on it instantly, and like, why do you have to judge that person for their mistake? We are human beings. We are going to make mistakes. We're not perfect.
No.
Hannah was not perfect, and she has said that many times.
She basically says that in almost every cassette tape, that she's not perfect. None of us are perfect.
The tapes are not to show revenge. She just wants the world to know that was what she was going through. It's not to hurt anybody. It's to make them think. And that's something we don't do. We act before we think real quickly.
Yeah, and it's...
it's so hard.
It's so hard. Because I would love to just tell everything about the book, everything that happened, but I just...
But we can't. This is one of those books that we can't spoil
like
for anybody, really. This is a book you have to just go up to somebody like, here, read this beautiful book.
It's such a beautifully written book. And the funny thing is that this is his first book.
This was his first book.
And it's done so well.
I want to write a book this beautiful.
I mean, and I'm surprised that, especially at my high school, for how such of a great book it was, nobody read it. I didn't even know about it till Bree told me about it, and I read it, and I fell in love with the book. I was like, why didn't anyone in my high school read this book? Because they were all reading, Hunger Games, Twilight,
Fault in Our Stars,
Nicholas Sparks, all of them, and I'm like, this was such a beautifully written book, and I just don't know why no one in my high school didn't read this book, because it is such a good book.
And the funny thing is, this is a #1 New York Times and international bestseller in 31 languages. You know how hard it is to find books in other languages too?
Seriously, I mean...
Because, it's nice to read like Twilight, it's nice to read The Hunger Games because it's viral, it's trending right then. But there's books that aren't as well known, they're one of the best books you probably didn't expect.
Exactly.
And we have to give appreciation to this cover. I actually have the paperback version of this one too. The hardback is in color form of the girl on the front who's supposed to represent Hannah, I'm assuming, because one of the first places on the cassette tape is the part that you'll read. But I love the cover of it. I love how it's all like duct tape like style. That's kind of how it is on the cassette tapes. Like she had like taped it on there. And
I really like, especially on like the I and the E, how it's like a 13. It just gives it like that extra kind of like, ooh, something different about it.
And then, like, on the back of it, if you kind of go through it, like, you can't stop the future, you can't rewind the past, the only way to learn the secret is to press play. They use, like, the stop symbol and stop, and
the rewind
button, and the word rewind, and the play button as the A in play. It's just, like, the little details. I love the cover of this book.
It's such a beautifully done cover. Props to whoever designed this book, because it is a great job.
And, like, photographed the girl so well. I almost want to say I like the paperback version just because it's black and white. The world, you have to look at the gray. For a deeper me, you want to look at it that way.
You have to look through the gray. In this book, you kind of got to
It's not black and white. The world is not black and white. You have to look at the gray to find answers, to find the truth and meaning. There are more than one side to a story, and with Hannah's case, they only saw one side, and she definitely shows that you need to listen to both sides of a story, just like an argument or something. You can't decide on one of them. You have to listen to both cases.
Because not one thing is right. I mean, there are two different arguments, and you just decide what's the best argument. I mean, and in Hannah's case, everybody saw one side, and they didn't know what was behind, at home or away from everybody, and
I mean,
it's just...
And it sucks with, like, things, like, when it comes to suicide, you shouldn't feel alone. And I think one of the things that annoyed me, that I don't know if I pointed out when I told you, of, like, some of the students at my school who had committed suicide, when, it has spiraled down, everyone felt bad afterwards. I'm like, why do you feel bad now? You should have felt bad when you first made that comment.
Yeah,
You have to think.
You have to think before you act. I mean...
Let this book show you that you need to think. Because you don't know what the result will be from your comment, or anything, really.
Anything, yeah.
Comments, like, in YouTube, in real life, you see in magazines, you see on TV. That's selfish. It's wrong of people to do that.
It is. And it's really annoying, because you hear... It's just like... you hear all these lies and stuff, and it's like, well, what do you believe? And I mean, that's kind of like in Hannah's case. Everybody was telling lies about her on some occasions. And it's like, well, what do you believe? It's like, what do you believe when it comes to her story? And that's why I believe she did the tapes, was to tell, this is what I saw whenever I was going through this, and it's really amazing.
She didn't have a voice, and it's just really depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Clay, the guy that is currently listening to the tapes, he was one of those few people who almost saw what was happening. He didn't believe all of it. He was scared, though.
Yeah, I think that he was scared, but he didn't know
what to do.
And this is why this needs to be in our school curriculum. Like this needs to be read in English classes for high schoolers, because we don't know what to do when it comes to suicide. I mean, we really don't.
It's traumatic when you think about it.
It's a traumatic experience, and not a lot of people know the signs or what to do in this type of situation. Like there is even the counselor. The counselor didn't even know what to do. The counselor didn't even catch on the signs, and that should tell us something, that we need to be more informed about suicide, just because of that particular reason. Because that's really sad. If a trained professional can't do anything about it and can't catch the signs, that's really sad.
It's nothing against curriculums now.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, they're there to encourage you into life, but school needs to incorporate more life things, especially like suicide. That's something that's traumatic to students like that at 14 to 18-year-olds. It's it's something new to us that we haven't comprehended yet, we haven't experienced yet until something like that, like a death. But even at the very end of the book, it does have the suicide hotline to contact if you do need help. And I'm just saying, like Clay, there is always somebody. Even if Clay didn't step up in time, there is somebody that will be there for you. Don't think you are alone.
There's always someone out there. Trust me.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here. I mean, how do you think we found each other?
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, we realized that we were both geeks.
We were loner geeks. We didn't have anybody to go to geek out about, really.
So, I mean, I felt like I was judged at school because I was a geek. I watched YouTube. My first YouTube channel was Rhett and Link. I mean, I felt like I was judged whenever I would say something about Good Mythical Morning or something, or about Doctor Who. I mean,
stuff like that, because big Harry Potter nerd right here. I didn't wear, Harry Potter stuff until, my last semester of high school. It was hard to stand out, because the only person that was, full-on, nerd on was my teacher. And I love her if she ever sees this, and Miss Robinson. She is an amazing woman, and I'm glad she showed this book to me, because this is definitely a book that everybody
needs to read.
It's one of those books that can definitely change your mind and change your perspective about the world so easily.
It really does. I mean, and it changes your perspective, and it also gives you it gives some hints about what to expect in a suicide. But I mean, it's just one of those things where you just really can't expect it. I mean, it's just so hard. Like what we were saying earlier,
they can be a normal person throughout the day. They could be laughing at something, but inside they're not
happy. They're dying. I mean,
they're suffocating on the inside.
I mean,
we all go through our hardships.
We all do.
But you don't have to be alone, and that's definitely one thing with our channel. We don't want anybody to feel alone. No. We did not like being alone.
No, it sucks. It sucks being alone.
Yeah.
And we really want to get in touch with you guys, so I mean, we're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook, she's not.
I don't have a Facebook.
But we're both on Twitter. We're both on Instagram, and
if you're lucky, you might find us on Tumblr.
Yeah, you might find us on Tumblr.
I am sneaky though.
But we will put all of our links down below. We'll put all of our social media stuff. So if you ever need to talk, just talk to us. I mean, we really want to reach out to you guys. We really want to help you guys out if you are struggling with this, and also seek seek professional help. Like, we will probably even put the suicide hotline down here, just because it needs to be put out there. No one should be alone. This should not happen. I mean, this really should not happen.
You were put on this earth for a reason.
We may not know that reason.
Nope.
But we were here for a reason.
We hope to connect with you guys because we're one family. We're a dysfunctional family.
Exactly. We're a dysfunctional family. I mean, that's what we want to be. We want to be a dysfunctional family.
I mean, we all have our differences.
Yeah.
But we all have some likes. We like being happy. We like smiling. We love laughing.
We really like laughing.
Our laughs are pretty bad, but we love laughing.
We love laughing.
But if it puts a smile on your face, then
that makes our day too. If we can help someone, it makes our day. I mean,
it makes our heart so filled with warmth and love.
Yeah.
And we hope to do that for you guys.
We really hope so. So
never feel alone.
No.
But we'll see you guys later. We want to continue on with the book, but we don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil anything. And we will be trying to do book series every 2 weeks, I think we said.
I think so.
2 weeks or month, and we'll just kind of do our review on a book. We don't know what our next book is going to be, but I think we discussed it was going to be the new Twilight book. So
the reverse, the life and death one. If you read the original one, it's the 10-year anniversary book, and she was it Stephanie Myers.
Yeah.
She wrote it. Their genders be swapped, so Bella is a guy. Bella, Edward, and Jacob, and a few of their friends had changed roles. Oh, and the whole Cullen family.
Yeah, all the Cullen family pretty much just switched.
But it is an alternative ending. I did read that somewhere that is a different ending. So, probably because, she's female now, he's male.
Yeah.
But that'll probably be the next one, but Twilight was kind of big.
Yeah.
If not, maybe Zoe's book?
We might do Zoe's book next, so...
Yeah.
Leave in the comments what you want us to do next, either Zoe's book or Twilight.
Or a completely different book.
Or a completely different book.
Maze Runner.
Yeah, I need to read Maze Runner.
The Maze Runner is another series we might go into depth about.
Yeah, but leave us a comment if you want us to do any books you guys know of, and we'll try to get our hands on them.
Yeah.
Because we're up for reading books.
We love books.
we love books. I mean, come on, who doesn't love books? I mean, they're so beautiful and they're amazing. So, anyway, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Go tell somebody they're beautiful today.
Yes, and tell them that they look great. So, do it.
Do it.
Just do it. Bye-bye.